was a couple of years into our marriage when Jared and I were serving at a church, and I became really good friends with our worship pastor's wife. I mean, to this day, I still love and admire her so much. She's about 10 years older than me, and the time in which we were able to serve at the same church, she really poured into me. I'm not sure I realized it at the time or even she realized it, but we would go out to lunch together and I just learned so much from her. And I have this one distinct memory of sitting across the booth from her at a burger joint when we were on our lunch hour. And she looked at me and she said this. She said, "Bobby Ann, I am so grateful for this season we have together." Inwardly, I gasped. Like, season? What are you talking about? We're going to do this forever. See, she knew something that I didn't know at the time, that we weren't going to be sitting at burger joints forever. But I sure wanted to. I resisted the idea that there was a limit to how long we would do that. And I think that's true for a lot of things and for all of us, that we struggle with limits. We want to go fast and hard. We want to prolong the laughter and shorten the crying. We don't always like to live in and lean in to the rhythm of life that happens in seasons. And that's what it talks about in our passage today in Ecclesiastes chapter 3. In every season, God is sovereign, but he says, there's going to be times when you're going to laugh and times when you're going to cry and times when you're going to build and times when you're going to tear down. There's going to be times when you're going to plant and then times when you're going to harvest. And in all of them, God is good. But we don't always, particularly when we find ourselves in a season of waiting or a season where it feels harder, even in the seasons where you're like, things are good, I love doing this, we don't function in a mindset that this will end. This will happen in a flow of seasons. But what we find in this passage in verse 11 is this reminder, and this is what it says: "Yet God has made everything beautiful for its own time. He's planted eternity in the human heart. But even so, people cannot see the whole scope of God's work from beginning to end." God is sovereign in our seasons. And so while we find ourselves in the middle of a joyful one, or maybe in the middle of a sad or grieving one, we have to remember that God sees the whole picture. He sees the whole thing. And we have the opportunity, no matter what season we're in, as chapters close and new chapters begin, to lean in and embrace the rhythm of seasons, that God is at work in you, but he's doing so much, not just around you, but he's weaving a story through generations as he works these seasons. As you find yourself, whatever season you're in today, you have the opportunity to trust God. As maybe you wait for a new season to come, or maybe you're holding tight to the season you're in. Believe God to be good. Believe God to continue in the work that he wants to do as he does it in seasons, knowing there is a time for everything and that God will make everything beautiful in its appropriate time. Oh, Willowbrook, I love you, and I hope that you'll have a happy Wednesday.